Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of NC-17. My name is Josh, and today we have a very respected director with us. I mean, I respect him because he does awesome stuff. We got Matt Peters. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. And yourself?
I'm pretty good, pretty good. So before we get into all the good stuff and the blood and gore, because trust me, there's a lot. Kind of take us back a little bit. When you were a child, was movies always something that you wanted to aspire to be involved with, or was it more along the lines it just happened and kind of like fell into your lap?
Well, I've Since a young child, I always wanted to find a unique way to tell stories and stuff like that. I originally wanted to get into computer and video game making and stuff like that. Then I found out I don't have the patience for all that programming stuff. Then I also thought maybe, hey, I could do comics. I'm not that good of an artist, so there's that as well. When I hit my late teens, I kind of discovered the joy of possibly getting into filmmaking, and I kind of grew from there.
Uh, uh, you got an impressive resume, and I've seen quite a few of your things. Uh, Obviously, we're going to get to Graveyard Shark, which was to me one of the best movies I've seen this year.
Awesome.
Uh, but before that, kind of take us to your first experience on a set. Was you nervous, or was it kind of like you were just anxious and ready to get going?
Our first film experience that we did was our first movie back in 2007 called Brackish. And I mean, I was fresh out of college, and my partner, who does a lot of movies and produces them, Jason Covey, it was his first thing in film in general. He just wanted to get behind and support me. And just kind of our first go at it, there wasn't really, it's back in 2007, so that was like a long time ago. There was not really a community in our area for it or anything like that. We just kind of had an idea of what we wanted to do and kind of trialed by error our way to figuring out if we could make this movie. And like nerves kind of hit was at the casting because we weren't sure if we could either get anyone to be in our movie to begin with. We held auditions and we had the exact amount of people come to auditions were the exact amount of parts that we needed. So that worked out. Surprising. And then it's just like the nervousness of like the first day. All right, if everyone shows up, we're good to go because who knows if people are going to show up. Because back then, like communication wasn't really there. Like in 2007, we had like internet, but it was mostly through like email. There wasn't like, social media networks other than MySpace, and that was really hard to talk through that one. So it was old-fashioned calling people and answering emails back and forth and working things out and hoping that would come together. And eventually we found some people who would follow us and make this movie, and we did it. And after that, it was kind of, hey, we could do it once, let's do it again. And we kept on repeating and growing from there.
Oh yeah. Uh, so I do a little bit of research on each guest that comes on. So one of your favorite movies, if not your favorite movie of all time, is Big Trouble in Little China.
Absolutely.
You know,
Love that movie.
uh,
Huge
excellent
inspiration.
movie, phenomenal. I'm a big Carpenter fan, but I mean, there's a lot of everyone likes their favorites, but that movie in particular, I kind of think that Russell's character was a mixture, and correct me if I'm wrong, was a mixture of Snake Plissken and Han Solo.
I mean, you could see that. I could see that. He's definitely he's an oddball character there. He's not really I mean, he's not your hero, right? He's the sidekick.
Yeah.
So he's not the hero of the adventure. He's the sidekick of that film, but it's seen through his perspective, and it's just the film to me is just a beautiful mixture of different genres that I love. You got little horror elements, you got the martial arts elements, the action, the adventure, a little bit of love thrown in there, and comedy, and it's just a beautiful mix. And it's something that's always inspired me to want to create movies that are sort of kind of like that. Um, so I kind of like to mix genres and see where it could go.
All right. Well, I can tell you in that aspect, you have definitely succeeded.
Oh, far from it. He's a master, John Carpenter. Uh, hopefully I can, get maybe a little tiny close to him someday.
Uh, so let's talk about some of your projects that you've been involved with. We'll go with an earlier one. You did one which I haven't seen, but I plan on watching one called Half Dead.
Yes.
Uh,
Half Dead is uh guess you would kind of, it's a zombie film, of course, but it's a zombie film mixed with like a mob drama and mixed with like a horror slash I mean there's romance in it too between the lead who comes back as a zombie and he's out seeking revenge and all that other stuff. So it's definitely like a fun melting pot of movies and genres to make this weird or imagine zombie mob epic we kind of went for.
oh yeah. Uh, I actually do plan on watching that one. That was I'm a zombie fan. What really got my attention at first was you did the segment "Blessed Are the Meek" for
Mhm.
Empire State of the Dead.
Yeah, yeah, we actually did that afterwards. But it has some similar vibes to it. I don't know if you've seen that one or not.
Oh
That's
yeah,
part of Empire State of the Dead with Ron Bonk and SRS Cinema. Uh, that was a fun little project for sure. Those are the two only zombie things we did. Half Dead, I think, is the biggest cast we ever had in a movie too.
oh,
We had a
okay.
ton of zombie extras. It's insane the amount of people that turned out to be in that film. I mean, I'm thankful for it. Uh, Made for some really cool shots and stuff like that, and we had a blast making it.
Oh yeah. So being on the independent scene and making movies on a large scale of having, extras and your main cast and everything like that, do you ever find that sometimes you got to take a step back and just be like, decompress and then get right back into it? Or is it once you start, you want to see it through to the end and get that end product out for the fans to watch?
Oh yeah, once we start a film, we're guns to the walls, flying to get it done. We want to finish that project, and once we start, we're excited, right? We usually get some really great people to work on our films, and the energy is usually high, and it gets us through. Um, which I think we have a really extremely good track record of getting movies out. I believe Graveyard Sharks our 22nd film, and our 23rd film, Blood Red Beach, is coming out in a few months. So
All
yeah, we
right.
like to work through and finish those films because that's fun. Every aspect of it is enjoyable.
Oh yeah. Uh, so these next couple of films I thoroughly enjoyed. We'll go with the X Grinder 666. That's what I call it. What would when you were coming up with that, and because it is part of a franchise, but when you were coming up with your own story and everything, what was the thought process behind all that?
Well, yeah, we got commissioned to make the movie for Sterling Entertainment, um, which is okay. Like I had some like things like I wanted to create my own kind of story that acknowledges sort of like the character, but wasn't really tied into the rest of the movies. Because if you're watching the other ones, they don't really follow along with each other. I think 4 and 5 is kind of a direct sequel. Three does its own little thing, and the between 1 and 2, there's like such a gap of time. It just really doesn't make sense. So I just wanted to make a really fun film. So I watched all those. I saw what worked and what didn't work, and where I wanted to take what I thought would be my version of Freddie Palmer and what I could do to make him stand out from the rest and create a story and create scenes and moments and characters that I think will stand out. And kind of went from there, and I think it came together a little good. Try to do something different. Try to put it in a different location that the other ones really didn't take place in, and tried to just make it stand out on its own. The standalone, you don't need to watch the other ones to enjoy this one, and I think that was a very important thing to nail home with it, and that's what we did.
Oh yeah. Uh, so before we go on, uh, someone who's a big member of your team is Stephanie Ward.
Mhm.
Phenomenal
Stephanie,
actress.
yeah, she's absolutely amazing to work with. We've been working with her now for, I want to say, since 2015, 2016. We worked, I think, on our first film, Barely Coping, together. We've done a bunch of other films, different genres throughout the year. She is a absolutely amazing, talented actress who comes well prepared and ready to kick ass every day. So she's a
Oh,
badass.
oh yeah. Uh, so with the with your guys' long working relationship, would you say it's kind of surpassed, like just people working together and it's kind of like brother sister?
I won't say brother and sister, but we're definitely really good friends. She's a part of our team. She is definitely one of the guys. If she like it or not, she definitely is one of the guys, and we treat each other. And we have a wonderful time together. She is excellent to collaborate with. She has amazing ideas, and she brings so much to our team. And yeah, we hang out, we do great, amazing things together, and I love working with her.
Oh yeah. So let's talk about Killing Time.
Mhm.
Uh, Going into it, I didn't watch no trailers or anything. I was after watching Graveyard Shark, I was like, I don't want to watch no trailers that you do. I just want to watch the movies.
Okay.
So going into it, I was going in blind, and I was like, okay. So halfway through the movie is when I really got hooked, and I was like, oh, I see where you're going with it. But so with your own words, kind of explain how you came up with the story, the characters, and just how it all meshed together.
Sure. Well, so Killing Time is actually a sequel to one of our earlier films, 3 Days in the Woods. So technically, this one's called 3 Days in the Woods 2 Killing Time, but it kind of got shortened down to Killing Time, uh, based off the distributor who said that that would work out better. With the original 3 Days in the Woods, we had a format where you have these people who come in, your typical campers. And they think they're the good guys, they're the people you're supposed to follow. Then halfway through, they're all dead, and you're following the killers. And it's the killers who have like the heart wrenching moments, and you kind of rooting for them to make it at the end, but they kind of don't. Uh, so, uh, so the villain of Killing Time to the guy that they bring back, Darian Cross, is the bad guy in the first movie. So in that one, I wanted to bring him back as more of a Jason Voorhees type of character, but I also wanted to keep the kind of the same formula where you have these killers. In this case, there's these two bunny girls who you kind of know that they're bad, but throughout the movie, from beginning to like the middle to the end, the focus gets more shifted towards them and their relationship. And hopefully by the end, you're rooting for them to have a happy ending even though they've been doing horrible things through the first half of the movie. Um, Definitely, that's kind of where I was going with that. It's a little inspired by things uh, like the Devil Rejects and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we're getting into the big ones here that well, I consider the big ones because they're the ones that stand out the most to me.
Okay.
Big Brood.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Uh so it's a alien invasion movie, but with a different take, which I liked. You
Yeah.
know.
We
Oh, go
wanted
ahead.
to, yeah, we wanted to do so we wanted to do like an alien type of creature film, and we wanted that like invasion feel, but it's a smaller budget thing, so we're like, how can we make this a more of an isolated thing? So we put a family that's close knit together, um, in a cabin in the woods, isolated from everyone else, and they're dealing with their own family drama with this kid kind of coming into their family who's an alien to them as well, right? And they're dealing with their family drama while there is a monster that's crash landed and starts possessing them and taking them over. So we're trying to look for like that mixture of a family drama mixed with something like things, or like got that alien aspect. It's taken over these people, and I think it came out pretty good. It's really, really a fun, I think, different type of horror film.
Oh yeah.
That
Uh,
mixture of dramas and comedy and horror that we kind of like to do.
oh yeah. I mean, so with Big Brood, like you said, you wanted the family dynamics, the family drama, and everything like that. And it's funny that you say, the kid is kind of alien to them too, because watching the movie, I was like, it's either going to be genius at the end, or it's going to be a complete left turn, and I'm not going to see what's happening.
Mhm.
And by the end, I will say it was kind of a little bit of both for me anyway. And I was like, damn, this dude knows what he's doing. you know. By the way, my wife doesn't like horror movies, but she did watch that one, and she did watch Graveyard Shark.
Oh,
So,
okay. Well, that's
you know,
good.
and she thoroughly enjoyed the twists in your movies, which are always good, especially with Graveyard Shark. Did not see neither one of those twists.
Yeah, you got to put something in a little, a little out of left field to, keep people interested and, nail home a certain view that you're looking for.
Oh yeah. Uh, so with Big Brood, up until that point, would you say that Big Brood was kind of like your most courageous attempt at making that kind of film, or would you say that what you wrote down, what you directed, pretty much came out exactly how you wanted it?
Well, no film ever comes out exactly how I want it. I got like billion-dollar blockbusters going on in my head with the budgets of like 10, 15,000. So what I write and vision in my head, definitely doesn't ever come to fruition. But um, I say that's one of the films from script to concept that we kind of really did nail down, which is good. We kind of went with a more tight-knit things. We done some like wild things in the past where we're like, should we attempted that? Uh, this one we had a plan. We came in and we had a really a good solid script, helped done by the writer Dylan Patrick Morley, uh, who helped me out with this, and he did a great job with the story and making these characters either extremely likable or extremely hateable, depending on your view. And I think there's just a good feel about how things came together in that one that I'm actually very proud about that. So.
All right. Well, I haven't rated Big Brood. I didn't do no review on it because I wanted to save that rating for when you were on the show.
Okay.
I don't. I have you seen my rating for Graveyard Shark?
I did. I can't remember it though right now off the top of my head.
Oh no,
I
it
it
was
was
just
good. I remember it was pretty good.
yeah. Well, since then I've seen Graveyard Shark, and don't judge me, but like 12 times.
No,
Uh,
that's fantastic. I'm not gonna.
uh,
I've seen it myself at least 1,000 times.
oh yeah.
All the
Uh,
showing we do and all the editing. Oh yeah, I've seen it a bunch.
oh yeah. Big Brood. It got a strong 9.9. You know,
Okay, let's say so.
and it was a little bit of everything that I kind of at that particular time wanted to see, and I was like, okay, let's hit it on all cylinders, and you did. The only reason I didn't get a full 10 is because I always want that just that little bit more.
It could always do more. I, everything I've done, I'm like, yeah, I could done more. I could do better, and that's part of the thing. It's part of growing. It's part learning. It's part growing with each one. If I kind of settle for what I did before, I'm never going to grow and get better. So I'm always. I'm my biggest critic on everything. So
Well, in my opinion, as a fan, you're killing it in what you do. So, you
thank you.
know. So before we get into Graveyard Shark, I want
Mhm.
to talk a little bit about practical effects because you lean heavily into that, and it is awesome.
Yes. I mean, it comes down to, I mean, it for us cheaper. It looks better. Um, And I think the people who are interested in watching our films want to see that. And me personally, I love practical sets. Like practical effects, I like real sets. I love seeing and filming in these areas. Locations are very important to me. So getting like the right location and being there in that spot is to me is where it's at. And another element of that is doing practical effects. So whatever we could do that is real, that the audience can see and believe as real and conceive as real, is going to come across a lot better and pulling them in and making them feel good.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Graveyard Shark.
Graveyard Shark.
I'm going to say, at least in my opinion, from pillar to post, beginning to end,
Mhm.
phenomenal.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And when the first time I watched it alone because my wife she talks a lot, but so she's gonna kill me for saying that, but whatever.
Mhm.
So the first time I watched it, I was like, "This is phenomenal. This is awesome," you know.
Okay.
And then the second time I watched it, I was like, because the first time is always pure entertainment. Second time is to see what I missed, you know.
There's stuff in there you might not know. You look back on it, you could pick up.
Oh yeah, you know. And I want to say the first time I watched it, I mean, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't seen it, but I'll just say, and I think you'll know what I mean. The way that Graveyard Shark was conceived was really outlandish and crazy, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah. So that was the first scene that I had in mind when writing the story. Uh, so how I started writing, I knew ahead of time that I wanted to work with Stephanie, and I also wanted to work with Brindell, the actor who plays the captain. And in my head, I'm all like, what can I do to make them act a certain way? Because I've seen them, I worked with them both in the past, and I hang out with them offset, and just their interactions, I know them so well. So I knew if I put Stephanie in a situation with Brindell, who he is telling this wild story to, it's going to be highly entertaining for not only them and me, but everyone else around who's getting to witness it. And that was the first scene that was conceived for the movie.
Oh yeah, that that was genius because one, like where it was placed, I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting that, but it definitely made sense. So, uh, but let's talk about Captain. Just his when they're in that room and they're talking, like the ones who survived, and he just comes in and says what he says. What really hooked me for loving this movie was just the way he ended that show, ended that scene when he just goes toodles. I was like, what the hell? I was not expecting that. So I was like, all right, that sealed the deal. That and plus
So,
Graveyard Shark, the dude is big. Like I mean,
so
he's stacked.
he is that. So the therapy scene, when the captain comes in the script, he comes in and says two lines, and that's it in the script. I knew, as well as Brundell knows himself, uh, he's gonna go and add a bunch more. So all that stuff is 90% him. Uh, Brundell March is probably the most entertaining human that I know. He's extremely, extremely gifted and talented. And if you give him like a little inch of playroom, he's gonna take a mile, and that mile is probably gonna be extremely entertaining, if not for anyone, but for me. And I appreciate that a lot, and that's why he's one of my favorite people to work with. And I wrote that movie knowing he could pull that in and out, as well as like so he could get that comedy, that funny stuff. But at the same time, if I need him to be like sad and dramatic, which he does a little later on, he could like snap into that in a heartbeat. And I think that makes for some really good storytelling.
Oh yeah. Uh, so I kind of want to touch on the opening scene. I mean, there's those first four. That was one. You kind of expected something was about to happen,
Yeah.
but you didn't expect exactly what happened to happen.
Okay.
And I was like, I get it. The two that were making out, and then all of a sudden it was like, all right, well, there's your first trope. You don't do, you're dead. But in filming that, just that opening was did everything come off without any mishaps, or was it like how many different takes did you have to do with that, if you don't mind me asking?
That's a good question. Well, I mean, just in general, we'll talk about the first scene. To me, the opening scene is extremely important because it sets up anything. So I usually try to start my opening scenes in chaos, and that's definitely a very chaotic opening scene. Um, so the filming process was extremely a fun, if not a very long, long night. I think we started. probably because it's the summertime. So we probably start at 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and then probably got done like 3 or 4 in the morning.
Dang.
It was a long, long, long night. It was also the first night that we shot with the graveyard shark costume. So we learned about the limitations of what we could do with that costume fast. Brandon Wheeler was the actor behind it. He also does the music score for the movie, as well as help produce and everything else. Fantastic, wonderful guy. This is the first time in that costume really, and then finding out how long can I breathe with that mask on, where can I see, what am I going to walk into. So there was a lot of those challenges, just trying to figure out what we could do in that suit uh, when it came to actually filming it. So it took a little long in those regards of trying to make sure we could do things safely, no one gets hurt or anything like that. Because once that mask is on, there's like the visibility is gone. Plus, we're adding a ton of smoke, and it's nighttime already. So uh, it was just a learning process, but it was a fun learning process. It was a very fun, long, long night. That was for sure. But everyone did really good. We all came together and I think nailed it and set the tone for a really fun movie.
Oh yeah. Uh so the story evolved quickly from that opening scene to now you're starting to add more depth to certain characters and more story, and as the movie progressed, at least in my opinion,
Mhm.
it progressed kind of like a symphony, you know.
Okay.
And the thing is like, yeah, like you said, you had the chaos, but now
Mhm.
you get the calm before the storm. And once that storm hit, get out the way.
Yeah.
But I like the one-liners that a lot of the people had in here, especially
Mhm.
when the sheriff says, "I told them to not to fuck around." That's what they were doing. I was like, made sense. Okay, I get it. But Stephanie and the her cameraman,
Mhm.
they played so well off of each other.
Oh yeah, they're fantastic. They've done a lot of run shows together, and they have years of experience working with each other. And I've known them both for such a long time, so I was able to add in a little bit of their own little personal dynamics and their banter that I've seen with them, and they're able to kind of just play off that, and they've done it so well. I mean, both characters made the lead so likable in those ways, and they work well with each other. Michael is a fantastic actor. He played Greg, and Steph is amazing.
Uh, so let's talk without spoiling anything about the two main twists toward the end.
Okay.
The first one, okay, before we get into that,
Mild spoilers. That's fine.
yeah, the one thing I sure in the hell did not see coming, and
Mhm.
we'll get to the twist in a minute, was the graveyard shark got lucky in this movie. I'm sitting there thinking, like, huh? What?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. That was always going to happen. I mean, you saw how muscular he was. I know there's people out there who were thinking it, and you had to deliver it, right? Seeing a big, giant, buff, muscular man walking around all day, someone had to like him.
uh,
So, and it might also, lead to a potential sequel down the line. So,
yeah,
you gotta plant some seeds.
all right. My wife of all people made a good joke. She goes, "I guess that gives new meaning to the word hammerhead." I was like, "What?"
Good.
my my wife is funny, but whatever. So after that, the first twist that came was when they found out how things were going. I don't want to
Mhm.
ruin it, but yeah, I did not see that coming. Like
Uh,
with the sheriff.
sure.
Yeah,
Yes. So I mean, it kind of comes out there, but I think we do a really nice reveal. The actor Ryan Santiago, who plays his sheriff, is probably one of the most talented actors I know. He is very good at commanding scenes. He gives such emotion to that reveal, where he's in the graveyard, and you get to see a lot of stuff with him. He delivers an amazing performance, and it's opposite of the captain, who sometimes is kind of wilding out there. he is there and he is serious, and they work so well with each other. And like Ryan delivered some of my most favorite scenes in that movie was with him and finding out what is going on. And I couldn't have picked a better actor for that. He's just really talented.
Oh, yeah. So before we get to the final twist, uh, I want to talk about the scene where they're all finally coming together as a group to kind of like go find the graveyard shark and do what they're going to do. Systematically, he tore these people apart.
Yeah.
And I mean, sorry, spoiler, but
I don't. You should be watching this, anyways. Anyone's hopefully seen it already. But
oh
yeah,
yeah,
watch. It's an
right,
enjoyable film if it gets spoiled, anyways.
oh yeah. But I have to say the way he kind of went about it was so the way you had it envisioned and it came off was so genius because it was like, yeah, y'all out here for me, but were they really the hunters or was he the hunter?
He was definitely the hunter. They entered his turf,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
he definitely. I mean, the kind of the ideal behind it is like Rambo taking out people one by one, and it had the little Rambo moment there. And it's something that we definitely wanted to do. They're entering his territory, even though they're trying to hunt him down. He's even more dangerous than all of them because he's a
oh yeah,
big guy, big giant monster, and it's just kind of puts in perspective how out of their league they are compared to them.
oh yeah. All right, so getting near the end of the film, you have that final twist. Now,
Mhm.
throughout I did not see it coming, but I should have just by what Greg was saying throughout the whole film. He's
It's
like,
sprinkled there,
mom
yeah.
says this, mom says that, and I'm like, why does he keep bringing up his mother, and why can't he be out after certain times? And when that last twist happened, I was like, okay, we're
Yeah.
gonna have a serious battle, and then Stephanie just looked at him and said, Greg. I was like, phenomenal. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
how did you come up with that? That's the main question I had for this whole interview was how did you come up with that?
I mean, that was so. I mean, in general, how I usually come up with films, I have an ending in mind or a beginning in mind. And I kind of work myself the point A to B. This film, I had like the middle started with the reveal of how the Graveyard Shark was made. But then I was like, all right, how do we defeat him and stuff like that? And then it's just building the different characters that I wanted to be a little bit different, and I wanted to have a bunch of cryptid stuff in there as well. And I thought if I put this in towards the end, I don't think anyone's going to see that coming. But if they paid close attention enough, or definitely on a second through playthrough, it's all there. He talks about it constantly. But his character is such in a way that you just think he has like a mama's boy issue, or he's just really this just weird characters because Stephanie's character calls him out on that all the time, but there's reason to it. And when that happens, we get this scene, and I get a fun, like, kaiju type of battle towards the end. That is like that one last, like, oh, we're going here at the end of the movie, just to, drive things home and send people home happy, right? Doing a little something different.
Uh, so all in all, the original rating was a 9.9 again because I always want that little bit more. But going back and watching it, and I mean, like I said, I've seen it so many times now. It's like I enjoy it every time, and I see little things that I missed every single time. Like the people who were the missing people on the pictures. I was like, they all did something to help make this movie, so I get it.
And
And
also, some of them are named after characters from other movies. There's a bunch of Axe Grinder 666 characters on there, and a few other things, which is pretty neat. I think one of the flyers is of Corbin, who was the goth guy in Axe Grinder 666. And so we had like little fun things like that throughout the movie.
oh yeah. Uh, so question is actually there's two questions. One, you definitely, in some way, shape, or form, set it up for a possible sequel.
Of course. I have quite possibly even better fantastical sequel in mind. It's gonna cost a little bit of money, so it might be a while. Gotta save up for that. But we definitely plan to make a Graveyard Shark too.
Oh, yeah. But on top of that, you also now have this other character because of the ending that you now can pretty much give their own story.
Oh, he's definitely gonna be a big part of part two. It's gonna all tie together. Because it kind of deals a little bit of Abby's past too, with what happened with her father. So it was going to live for things tie in together. And I could say that the sequel that I've written a treatment for um, is absolutely it's out there. It's wild. It's bananas, and it's gonna top this one. Just gotta raise some money. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh yeah. Uh, so you got another one coming out. You said in a couple months.
Yep, I am working on the finishing editing. I got to get the guy, the Brandon, who's gonna be coming out and doing the soundtrack again, who played the Graveyard Shark. I gotta start getting him some of the footage. We gotta start doing the scoring. I'm doing some color grading and stuff like that. Our new movie is called Blood Red Beach. It is a pirate slasher about a group of friends who go to an island and accidentally bring back this pirate demon and they gotta try to survive. It is a fun wild ride. There's action, there's comedy, there's some drama, and definitely some pirate shenanigans.
All right. Definitely be on the lookout for that one. Trust me.
We got a great cast in it. Stephanie Ward's in it again. Brendan March, Ryan Santiago, Mel Heflin joins us for this one. As well as some great people. The guy who played Corbin in X Grinder 666, Sonny Duras, is also in this, as well as some amazing, talented actors who come together to create this new film. And we're all excited to get it out there for people to see, hopefully, which will be June or July, depending how quickly I get things together. It's progressing extremely good.
All right. We're kind of ending the near the show. Ending nearing the end of the show. God, we're getting near the end of the show. There we go. Yeah. But this is the part where I give you the floor. You can plug all your socials where people can or cannot reach out to you. That's up to you. Plug your movies where people can see them and just anything you want to plug. Floor is yours.
Sure. Right. On Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and whatever else, we're on social medias under Mad Angel Films. Or you go to our website, www.madangelfilms.com. You can buy all of our movies on Blu-ray, DVD, VHS, or what up. If we have 20 something films up for sale, go and grab them. They're fantastic. If you want to stream movies, we have on Amazon, or you can watch a bunch of them on Tubi. Graveyard Shark's on Tubi right now, as well as Amazon. Um, yeah, you can check them all out there. And like I said, Blood Red Beach is coming out soon. We're taking pre-orders on our website, and that will be out in either June or July. Hopefully, we send that to a few different festivals. We'll get it on streaming networks probably around winter time. And we're going to a bunch of different horror cons. We got one coming up in New Jersey on May 17th, 18th, I believe. So if you're in the New Jersey area, I do believe it's Atlantic City. Come to New Jersey HorrorCon and hang out with us. Get our movies on sale, possibly there. Usually they're on sale. And meet us, sign us. We'll sign some things, maybe. Who knows? We're some cool people. We like to meet other cool people who enjoy the good old independent horror films.
Yeah. Uh, one last question.
Mhm.
What was your favorite thing out of all the movies you filmed? Was your favorite scene that you filmed or practical effect that you filmed?
Oh, of all of them,
It's a lot.
there's a lot because a lot of things have different. That's weird. So lot of the films take place they're in different parts of my life. So they all hold different meanings, different experiences, stuff like that. Um, I could probably say what is one of my best movie making experience of all time was probably Barely Coping. Uh, just the cast and the crew of that film. And we spent, I think, 4 days locked in the cabin together, and it was an absolutely fantastic, fun time making that movie. And we came up with a fun game called Kill Joe Capelli out of it. And you can't beat that when you get to murder one of your friends.
That's very true, and not get in trouble for it. So,
Yeah,
uh, well, Matt, you've been an awesome guest. I thank you for coming on.
thank you for having me. It was a blast.
Oh yeah, oh no, you guys are more than welcome on this show anytime. Anybody who wants to come on the show can come on the show. But I thoroughly do enjoy the conversations I get to have with everybody because they're always different conversations, you know. So and picking your mind about certain things. I mean, Graveyard Shark stands out as probably one of the best movies I've seen in a while.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that you enjoy it so much.
You know, it's I mean the fact that my wife sat through the whole thing and I was like, you know what? You got yourself a solid one right there. You
I'll
know,
take it.
she don't rate her movies. She just I mean, well, if it's Disney, it's always a million, but you know, it is what it is. I said,
Graveyard
yeah,
Shift are our Disney movie. I feel.
there
I
you
still
go.
support the princess who fights monsters to save the day, the kingdom. Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah.
definitely
I'm,
definitely a Disney movie.
oh
But
yeah.
don't watch it with kids. That's all.
There you go. Uh again, thank you. It's been awesome. And you are more than welcome on the show anytime, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Everybody, until next time, stay NC-17.